What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Saturday, October 11th, 2025, and we are back with another weekly recap here on the Torian Brain Reloaded channel. If you have not done so already, please be sure to go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you are new. And if you are new to the channel, I'm glad that you are here. Hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Shout out to everybody that is in the chat right now, all the members, all the mods. Shout out to everybody over there on Patreon as well. I'm glad that you are all here. Before we get into everything, because we have quite a few things that we're going to discuss today, let me acknowledge the people who are here so far in the chat. We got Reparations Nation, Wallow J, Dark Titan, Miss Nisi, Donna C, Sybil, Queen, Huey, Kane, the bad guy, Brother Man to you, Chris, Church, and so far that is everyone in the chat. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. But before we get into everything, and shout out to Don P, who just came into the chat. Nini came into the chat. Jonathan is here in the chat. Shout out to everybody that is here so far in the chat. We got SD Johnson. We got Songwriter. Shout out to you. D Money just came into the chat. I'm glad that you were here as well. Before we get into everything, we got to, start off, on a rather somber note, because now it's three things that I have to mention now. First up, let me highlight this comment. Condolences to Brother Man to you. He said that he hasn't been online much in a couple of days because he said his father passed away on Thursday. So condolences to Brother Man to you and to his family as well. Make sure y'all show some love in the chat for Brother Man to you. But also, there was also unfortunately another passing that happened, and many of y'all already know about this because I posted it up on my community tab. We lost one of our B1 riders, Black Voltron Reloaded. When I first heard about this, I was absolutely shocked, probably just as much as shocked as everyone else that is in this chat right now or anybody who's not watching at the moment. But yeah, we lost, unfortunately, one of our contributors to the New Black Media. I have a feeling that, if the circumstances weren't what they were, he would probably be in this chat or on his way into this chat right now, or he probably would be sharing the link on his page to spread the word out that people were live and all things like that. And what's interesting, and I said this is how I know the world just became even more smaller, is that I posted this up on my YouTube and as well as on my Facebook, because me and Black Voltron were friends on Facebook. So I just left them, like a post, tagged him and everything like that. Then yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, I got a DM from somebody that I went to college with. And they told me that their wife, that Black Voltron was his wife's stepfather and her younger sister's mother. And I said the world just got that much smaller because the person who he's married to also went to the same college as we all did. All three of us went to the same college. That's actually where they met. And she has sent me a DM just asking me to spread the GoFundMe link to as many people as possible. And I said, it's just crazy how small the world actually is. Because unfortunately, if Black Voltron, what happened didn't happen to him, I would have gone through life not knowing that someone I've known for years, as far as on a personal level, was related to somebody who was very close in this space. So it's just crazy how the world just works itself out. But this right here is the GoFundMe page. I actually pinned the link to the GoFundMe at the top of the chat. If y'all decide, I would rather y'all not send me super chats. Whatever you feel like you want to donate to me, to the channel today, I would rather you divert it to this GoFundMe. So this is the official GoFundMe for Black Voltron Reloaded. His name was Russell Clark, and it was created by Layla Clark, who is his daughter. And they have a $15,000 goal. And so far they have raised over $11,000. Mind you, they just put this up like 2 days ago. So it's growing really fast. I have the strongest feeling it's going to reach its goal way before the funeral happens, which is on the 27th. So yeah, donate what you can. And what I'm gonna do is at the end of the live, like once I shut down, like after I'm done letting the panel come up and speak, I'm gonna refresh the page again and see where the numbers are at as far as what was raised for him and, for any services that are needed. And shout out to Brother Man to you for the 10. He says, thanks, Torian, and appreciate you. Keep up the nice work. I appreciate you. And again, condolences to you and your family. But also, while there also was still, like I said, there was 3 pieces of somber news, I also have to share this as well. Ike Turner Jr., who is Tina Turner's son and Ike Turner's son, unfortunately passed away at the age of 67. Some of you may or may not have heard about it, but he passed away last week, I believe. I believe he was the oldest, of the sons. It says Tina Turner and Ike Turner's son, Ike Jr., has died. TMZ has learned. Oh, he wasn't the oldest son. He looked like he was the second born. It says Tina's niece Jacqueline Bullock tells TMZ Ike Jr. died Saturday at a Los Angeles hospital from kidney failure. It says he had battled severe heart issues for years, and we're told his health had been declining for some time, and he also recently suffered a stroke in early September. So he had a lot of health issues, and unfortunately, he succumbed to those multiple health issues. So yeah, condolences to their family, because Tina, she passed like 2 years ago, and Ike, he's been dead for a few years now. So unfortunately, it's crazy how life just is. This is unfortunate, but I just wanted to start off with those pieces of news right there, and now we can go ahead and get into the nonsense. The first thing we're going to start off with, and this is more of an update, is on Derrick Groves. Now, if y'all don't know who Derrick Groves is, he was one of the people that escaped from that New Orleans jail from that breakout that happened a few months ago, and he was on the run for the longest. They already rounded up the others. He was on the run for so long that I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of forgot all about it. But they finally caught him like 2 days ago. They finally caught him. So let's see what they're talking about on here. Derrick Groves, the last of 10 inmates on the run after escaping from the New Orleans jail in May, was recaptured following a standoff with police in Atlanta Wednesday. The 28-year-old convicted killer had been on the run for nearly 5 months. When he was apprehended around 1 p.m. at a home in Honeysuckle Lane in southwest Atlanta, according to the U.S. Marshals, Groves was considered the most violent of the inmates, and his whereabouts had been the subject of a nationwide speculation for months. Groves is linked to the killings of 4 people in the New Orleans metro. He was convicted of 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder in October 2024 and pleaded guilty to manslaughter in 2 separate cases. Escapees Kendall Miles, Robert Moody, DeKennon, Dennis, and Gary Price were arrested in the immediate days after the escape, followed by Corey Boyd, Linton Van Buren, Leo Tate, and Jermaine Donald were arrested outside in Baton Rouge and the Houston area, respectively, on Memorial Day. Antoine Massey was recaptured in Holly Grove on June 27th. I'm not going to go through every deep part of the breakdown, but I'm just going to go over the subheading. The first part says that he was found in a home crawl space. The fact that he was right under their noses the whole time. Because a lot of people thought that maybe he fled the country, like maybe he tried to seek asylum somewhere in a foreign land. No, he was there in Atlanta for months, and they didn't even know. The next part says the officials received the tip because, they said they were offering a $50,000 reward. The next one says police are investigating possible accomplices because they don't believe it's possible he could have hid out for 5 months on his own and was able to be successful with this on his own. The next one says that he faces extradition, which is natural because they're going to send him right back to New Orleans. It says his escape is the longest in decades for New Orleans. They said Jamarcus Cyprian remained at large for nearly 6 months after fleeing the parish jail last May. So he lost by a month. And they said this guy was hiding in an apartment closet with a gun last November. So yeah, that's the update with him. And yet they finally caught him. Brother man, I don't know if they abused him or not. I don't know about that. But the thing of the matter is that they finally caught him. And like I said, I forgot all about him. It's been so much stuff that has happened since then that I completely forgot that this guy was on the run. But let's talk about someone who's not having such a good week after months of what I feel to be trolling people. Aubrey Drake Graham, aka Wheelchair Jimmy, the judge has basically dismissed his case. It's a done deal. Let's see what they're talking about in this news clip.
And ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer is here to break it all down for us. So, Brian, the judge says Not Like Us wasn't defamatory because in the context of a rap battle, reasonable people know the accusations they're making against each other aren't fact. So does that mean you can say anything about a rival in a rap battle?
So I wouldn't say you could say anything about a person in a rap battle, but I will say that the judge looked at this from a holistic context of not only the fact that this is opinion and not fact, the context not just of the single song Not Like Us, but of all the songs in these diss tracks, and maybe even going a little bit into the history of how diss tracks operate, as you saw Mike Muse opining just a few moments ago. But you looked at it and said, there's no reasonable person who's going to listen to this and look at this and say, you know what, I think that Drake is in fact a certified pedophile, understanding that we know he has no criminal record or no allegations that have gone to the court system with that. And so I think the judge said this is opinion, not facts, and therefore not protected on the First Amendment and not defamatory.
The judge also threw out the New York State business claim questioning Drake's sources of info there. What do you make of that ruling?
Yeah, so don't forget, this is about a motion to dismiss. It's about the level of information that a judge is reviewing to see whether or not this case should go before a jury. And the judge looked at this and said, for the most part, you're making this deceptive business claim that UMG is harming your bottom line by promoting Kendrick Lamar's song and his music overall with the use of tweets and kind of insider information that has no real basis or no real grounded, reliable source. And the judge basically said, this isn't good enough for me to believe that this case should move forward.
Now Drake says he plans to appeal. How strong do you think that appeal will be?
So unfortunately, I don't think it's all that strong, but we do know that in the next 30 days, we'll see a one-page request to appeal this case to the Second Circuit in New York State. That's based on their stance that they will appeal. There's not going to be any facts in that document, but we will see arguments more likely than not that the judge overstepped their legal ability to say that this was or was not opinion or was not fact. We'll see different arguments and different interpretations, and we'll see what the Second Circuit does.
All right, Brian Buckmeyer, thank you.
So there's that. Honestly, I'm not surprised by this. And Drake just needs to wave the white flag and just hang it up. It's over. Like, this is not, at this point, Kendrick is now about to go on a 2-year run thanks to this. I mean, honestly, I'm not even surprised that this happened. I am not even in the least bit surprised. They looked at this and said, yeah, you're not going far with this. And I refuse to go and take this any further and turn my courtroom into a kangaroo-style circus court. So you can take this claim and go somewhere. I mean, the judge just flat out dismissed the case. Meaning they didn't even hear it. I'll take that back. They heard it and decided it's not enough for me to go far with this. This has got to be one of the worst stains for hip hop ever, if not the worst. Thanks to this imposter. But you know, hey, it is what it is. Shout out to that judge for seeing through this charade, because that's all I see it as. That's exactly what it is. You did all of that for over a year, and now you're going to try to appeal. I don't know what he think he's going to do or accomplish with this appeal. You got it dismissed. You think that if you appeal it, something's going to change? Nene said Drake is looking real petty. He is real petty. Like, what in the hell? What would? I don't think I can put into words. You know what, Chris? You actually, I take that back. I stand corrected. It's a stain on Drake, not on hip hop. It is a stain on him, because I don't know anybody else who has ever done something like this. I really don't. I have no clue who has ever done something even remotely like this before until now. But see, what happens is when you're used to winning so much, this is what happens. And when you can't take your L and take your lumps, this is what will happen. Melanated Mantra said Kendrick will take a jab at Drake's L on his next album. Drake could even be blacklisted by a record. Hey, he left himself wide open for attack with that one, and I will see if it happens. Hope in a slight petty way. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that it does happen. So that's that right there. Let's move on from this. This is from this foolishness and go on to some more nonsense. Look at this headline right here, y'all. Son accused of brutally beating his mother to death with a gardening tool over inheritance. A Missouri man is behind bars after authorities say he allegedly beat his mother to death with a gardening tool after demanding his inheritance. Derrick Alling, age 39, is facing first-degree murder and armed criminal action charges, according to court documents obtained by Fox News Digital. Christian County deputies were called to the home of Carolyn Alling, age 65, at around 9:30 p.m. on September 25th after her husband, who was Derrick Alling's stepfather, requested a welfare check because she was not answering her phone. When deputies arrived at the Ozark home, they were met by Derrick Alling and began asking him questions about his mother's whereabouts. Based on his answers, authorities quickly became suspicious of the victim's son. They just had a gut feeling that something was not quite right, and they acted upon that. Sheriff Brad Cole told the outlet. Unfortunately, the gut feeling they found to be true. Deputies reportedly found Derrick Alling where his mother was, to which he responded she was in a guest house on the family's property and failed to answer when authorities asked about her condition. When deputies asked Derrick Alling if his mother was alive, he reportedly told him that he didn't think so. With the interaction, that's when they detained him, and then they began investigating further and found the victim. Fox News Digital was unable to immediately locate an attorney representing Derrick. Prior to the alleged killing, the victim's husband reported that Derrick made repeated threats toward his mother and demanded his inheritance from her, according to court documents. The victim had been recording the defendant acting aggressively and violently towards her within weeks of her murder. Prosecutors also revealed the stepfather also told police that he and his wife chose to keep their marriage secret for fear of the defendant acting violently toward them if he found out. Carolyn Alling worked as a licensed dental hygienist and previously lived in California with her late husband and 2 children before moving back to Missouri. The Christian County Sheriff's Office did not immediately respond to Fox News Digital request for comment, and he is pleaded not guilty and is scheduled to return to court on October 14th, which is on Tuesday. I'm telling y'all, what have I told y'all? That greed will do it every single time. I said all the deadly sins, greed for me is the top one because they link to the other ones so seamlessly. When money becomes an involvement and people want that money, they will do anything for it. Don't believe me? Listen to the song Money, literally titled Money by Michael Jackson. If you have not heard it already, it tells you everything you need to know in that one song. And it's a good song too. It makes me wonder too, how much was this inheritance? It must have been a lot if he's going to beat his mother to death with a gardening tool for it. That's crazy. But yeah, that's He said with a gardening tool. Makes me also wonder what gardening tool did he use, because there's quite a few gardening tools that come to mind. Either one would be brutal. James said, now you ain't going to get any inheritance, you big dumb. Exactly. Rob Baller said a hoe. Y'all said what? It didn't say what the tool was. It could have been that. It could have been a shovel. It could have been I would hate for it to be some shears, because that's very brutal. It could have been, what's that thing that you use? It's like it has 3 prongs on it, and I forgot what it's called. I'm seeing what it looks like in my head, but I don't know what the name of the tool is. But it could have been just about anything. There's a lot of dangerous gardening tools that can be used. No, not the pitchfork. I mean, that could be one of, but not a pitchfork. It's like a single handle thing. It's small and it has like the prongs kind of curve over in a hook formation, and it has 3 of them on it. I don't know, but either way, they said he used a gardening tool to take out his own mom over an inheritance that he wanted. Now let's move on from people beating their mothers to death over money to perverted pastors out of Texas. And church, I know you're in the chat right now, and if I have anybody else that's in Texas, y'all probably heard about this story too. Yes, thank you, Queen Huey. A pruning fork. That's what it is, a pruning fork. Thank you. That's what I was thinking of. Let's talk about this dude down in Texas. Texas megachurch founder Robert Morris pleads guilty to child charges. The founder of a Texas megachurch who resigned last year after a woman in Oklahoma accused the pastor of sexually abusing her in the 80s pleaded guilty Thursday to 5 counts of lewd and indecent acts with a child. Robert Preston Morris, age 64, entered the pleas before a judge in Oklahoma's Osage County as part of a plea agreement, according to the state attorney's general office. The abuse began in 1982 when the victim was 12 and Morris was a traveling evangelist staying in Hominy, Oklahoma with her family, according to the statement by Oklahoma Attorney General Gentner Drummond. The abuse continued over the next 4 years. Morris was the senior pastor of Gateway Church in the Dallas-Fort Worth suburb of South Lake, where he led one of the nation's largest megachurches until his resignation. He was indicted earlier this year by an Oklahoma grand jury under the plea agreement. Morris received a 10-year suspended sentence with the first 6 months to be served in the Osage County Jail. Morris was handcuffed and wearing a suit as he was escorted out of court on Thursday by 2 sheriff deputies. The victim, Cindy Clemishire, who is now 55, said in a statement that justice has finally been served and the man who manipulated, groomed, and abused me as a 12-year-old innocent girl is finally going to be behind bars. The Associated Press typically does not name people who they say have been assaulted unless they come forward publicly, as Clemishire has done. My hope is that many victims hear my story and it can help lift their shame and allow them to speak up. I hope that law continues to change and new ones are written so children and victims' rights are better protected. I hope that people understand that the only way to stop child abuse is to speak up when it happens or is suspected. Morris must register as a sex offender and will be supervised by Texas authorities via interstate compact. He also was ordered to pay his cost of incarceration, including any medical expenses and restitution to the victim. One of Morris's attorneys, Bill Matea, said Morris wanted to accept responsibility for his conduct and wanted to bring the legal matter to an end for the sake of him and his family and Clemishire and her family. And it goes pretty much on and on and on. Like, sick individual, y'all. Sick. The usual suspects, I'm trying to figure out, did they speak about this? Because this was updated yesterday. So this is very recent. And the story has been floating around in the news maybe for like the last week or so. So I'm just curious. Church said, hell no. I kind of figured that. I'm telling you, these priests and these pastors, they are sick. And I think what's crazy about him is that this guy already had priors from another case, and only to add on now, let's go after and do this to a child now. He went from messing with a grown woman without her consent to messing with a child. Man, oh man. But if y'all thought that was bad, check this out. And this is stemming from the previous article we just read about him. Supporters of Pastor Robert Morris, who admitted to abusing a 12-year-old girl, says God has forgiven him. Excuse me. They said the child abuser is forgiven and acquitted in the court of heaven, where our Lord Jesus sits as a judge, supporters say. Let me just get to the quotes. God does forgive, and I believe he is a forgiving man, one supporter wrote in response to the news. Someone else said, he is found guilty in the court of man, but he is forgiven and acquitted in the court of heaven, where our Lord Jesus sits as a judge. One supporter called for people to not judge him and liken Morris' child abuse to repentant figures in the Bible. They said, all the great people in the Bible make mistakes. They wrote, God is slow to anger and quick to forgive. Don't judge him. Let God be the judge of everyone. They said, for something that happened 40 plus years ago, unbelievable. Another one said, love you, Pastor Robert, praying for you and your family. God isn't finished with you. Your best has yet to come.
Boy, if you don't get the fuck out my face.
Remember when I had asked months ago, maybe over a year ago, I said, what's worse, the grifter or their supporters? Look at the enabling that they're doing here. I already know PC said this crap. And the fact that they even said it, that means they are okay with it. They see nothing wrong with what this dude did. They care nothing about the victim or victims, because there's most likely more, because there's always more. It's never just one. What's going on, Pam? Yes, Pam. Isn't that amazing? It's amazing, right? Other stuff that they would forgive and overlook. That's why I can't take them seriously. None of them. Yeah, but they sat up there and they, y'all, what else can I say to this? What else is there to say to this? Exactly, Black Storm, but they still have hatred for Black people. But they're willing to overlook and forgive this. Let's move on to the next story. Now, this is another messed up story as well. I meant to actually talk about this, I think, last week. I'm not entirely sure. But this is why I've said that Tesla Cybertruck is already an ugly truck, but apparently it's also a death trap, because it says a college student was burned alive after Tesla Cybertruck doors malfunctioned and trapped her inside following a crash. That just sounds like something straight out of Final Destination. A California college student was burned alive when her ride, which was a Tesla Cybertruck, became a death trap, locking her and her friends inside after the vehicle crashed and went up in flames. 3 college students, including 19-year-old Krista Sukahara, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce her last name, were killed in early morning crash last November when their electronic vehicle burst into flames after striking a retaining wall in a tree in Piedmont, California. The driver, Soren Dixon, and passenger Jack Nelson also died in the fiery crash. A 4th passenger, Jordan Miller, was able to escape after an onlooker smashed the windshield with a tree branch. Sukahara reportedly survived the initial crash and was fully conscious, but couldn't escape the burning vehicle after the Cybertruck lost power, causing its electronic door release system to fail, according to a lawsuit filed by her parents, Carl and Noel, and seen by the San Francisco Chronicle. The teen died of smoke inhalation and burns after onlookers were unable to pull her and the other occupants from the truck, which also saw damages from Dixon's estate and that of the vehicle's owner. Tesla doors are powered by a 12-volt battery, which can fail if the vehicle loses power. During a crash, and the emergency manual interior door release is notoriously difficult to find, according to the lawsuit, which was filed in Alameda County Superior Court. It is a horror story. Tesla knows that it happened and it's going to happen, and they are doing nothing but selling a car with a system that entraps people and doesn't provide a way of extraction. The lawsuit includes more than 30 examples of publicized alleged problems with Tesla's door systems. Sorry, I had to get some water. My throat's kind of dry. Excuse me. It says accuses the Elon Musk owned company of showing a conscious disregard for consumer safety, having known about the issue for years. Tesla's high-tech handleless door design, which opens and shuts at the push of a button, made it susceptible to failure in the result of a crash and lacked a functional, accessible, and conspicuous manual door release mechanism or failsafe. Tesla, which was added to Sukahara's lawsuit on Thursday, did not respond immediately to requests for comments. And this is what it looked like, y'all, from the crash. That thing is pretty much crushed. It's done. Wow. It just goes on to say that they believe they also have a strong case against it. I think they probably do, but it's going to be a long, drawn out one. But imagine that you crash, you survived the crash, by the way, but you can't get out of your car because the doors lock up and you can't get out. That has to be the scariest part of the whole ordeal, is that there's a chance for your survival, but because the doors lock up on you and you can't get out, now you basically are dying slowly. They said smoke inhalation and basically burning to death. And then we'll continue to sell these vehicles. That, for me, is enough to demand a recall, a major recall. But I've always said that Tesla, that Cybertruck, was not the most appealing vehicle to me. I always said it was a hideous vehicle. That's just me. Jesse said it sounds like it is a death trap. They even mentioned it in the article that this thing is a death trap. That's exactly what it is. It's no way that I would own, let alone probably ride in one of these vehicles. It ain't happening. Especially now knowing this. What's going on, KG? Let's move on to, oh, look, y'all, I couldn't wait to talk about this next one because this is absolutely ridiculous. And KG, ironically, you came in at the right time. How many of y'all heard that? Okay, well, let me start here. So they already have announced who will be doing the Super Bowl halftime show. They announced that it's going to be Bad Bunny. Now, I'm going to admit to you, I'm not a fan of Bad Bunny. I couldn't name one of his songs. But he has a huge fan base out there somewhere. He's actually one of the most streamed artists in the world right now. He has a huge global fan base, especially in the Latin speaking or Latin American countries. And he was announced that he's going to be the Super Bowl halftime show performance, and people, the usual suspects, lost their damn minds. So much, in fact, that they said that they're going to boycott the Super Bowl halftime show, even though I thought they were supposed to be boycotting the NFL altogether, dating back to Colin Kaepernick, but here we are. And said that they're going to implement their own halftime performance. And it's like, okay, y'all are reaching really, really, really hard. So we're going to go over this one right here. They said Turning Point announced they will be hosting their own concert during the Super Bowl halftime show. TPUSA will be using fully Christian American performers. Already, I'm laughing at that headline. By the way, y'all, Bad Bunny is from Puerto Rico. It was a lot of individuals in some of these comments who claim to be so-called high IQ that were saying that he needs to be deported back to his homeland. Well, we'll go over that.
Tim, it's very clear to me what must be done here is that Turning Point USA needs to host a counter-programmed halftime show starring the only sincere band that has kept going with a fully Christian theme, as you say,
Celine Dion.
from day one. No, American band, American. Get that Canadian nonsense out of here, Luke. I'm talking about Creed. I'm talking about Scott Stapp. I'm talking about taking this entire country higher to a place with golden streets.
Where blind men see.
You guys talked about that.
Men see.
I think on your show today, on Charlie's show, when you guys were.
So Tim, in all seriousness, that clip has gone mega viral.
Did you tweet it?
I did.
It's a
tweet
good
it.
idea.
Andrew tweeted it out as the official spokesman of Turning Point. And now the media, there has been a frenzy of media requests, as well as sponsors and donors and all sorts of people and other artists, Christian artists.
It's got 1.6 million.
Yeah, 1.6 million views. And no, I had no authorization whatsoever to start talking about.
It's got to
this.
happen, man.
And now it's like.
I think Turning
do
Point's
you
the place
do it
for concerts.
Do you do it at the same time as the official halftime show?
Yes. Same time as the official show. Yes.
So we could watch football and then change the channel, watch Creed.
Well,
and then
we
change
do
back.
a live stream or maybe do a partnership with one of the channels that I'm
Talk
not
to Sinclair, maybe.
I am not saying that there have been conversations about this earlier today in this building, but it seems to have taken on a lot.
Okay, so you heard that. That's not happening. You're gonna try to bring in. They brought up Creed. I can't even name the last time Creed put out a song. Now, this generation right here wouldn't even know who the hell Creed is. I'm gonna be honest with you. No one wouldn't. I'm gonna be even more honest with you. I couldn't name one Creed song. I've heard of the group because they were very popular back in the 90s. They were practically everywhere, and then I always saw them. But what the hell? What would a fully Christian halftime show even look like? Pam, you asking the right questions. Is that even a Christian group? They are just talking out their ass, but that is of no, that's not hard for them to do because they typically do it every day. But what? Even if people didn't want to watch Bad Bunny and they wanted to watch an alternative, they wouldn't even watch that. They wouldn't even know what the hell they're watching. I even heard when I was reading some of the comments, some people had suggested Kid Rock. And I'm like, Kid Rock. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? None of them things that they mention are, when you think of a Christian group, I'm thinking of maybe a gospel group or something. If you're going to do that, Creed was a rock band. Last time I checked. So again, they just talking out their ass with this. But it doesn't stop there because Riley Gaines, the poster child for victimhood, also had something to say. Here's Riley Gaines. She said Bad Bunny told Americans they had 4 months to learn Spanish if we wanted to understand the Super Bowl halftime show. And basically they're going off of what he was talking about on his monologue because he was hosting SNL, I think last Saturday. And in one part, he said that, I'm going to be doing the halftime show in Spanish. And if you don't know Spanish, you got 4 months to learn it. And she says, no, thanks. We'll just have our own. Enjoy your low-rated halftime show. Riley, this is exactly why you are a loser. Because whether you like Bad Bunny or not, whether you're a fan of his music or not, to think that that halftime show is going to be low-rated is absolutely ridiculous. Especially if the people that you want to put out there are people like Creed, Kid Rock, or any of these other individuals that couldn't even sell out a crowd today. Look at this. This is the poster. Turning Point USA presents the All-American Halftime Show, celebrating faith, family, and freedom. February 8th, 2026. Visit theamericanhalftimeshow.com for more info and musical artists to be announced. I can't wait to see who they plan on announcing for this so-called All-American show. I'm just curious. I cannot take these people seriously. And just like KG always says to us, they don't want to save the country. They just want to be celebrities. D Money said maybe the Dixie Chicks. They don't want the Dixie Chicks. They pretty much they said what they felt about them after what they said about George Bush Jr. KG said they better get Kanye. Kanye needs to go find Kanye, honestly. This is it's hilarious. It's hilarious to me. Like, they have to know that they have no leg to stand on with this. None. A Turning Point USA All-American Halftime Show. Get out of here with that. All right, y'all, let me move on to the next story, y'all. And this time we got to talk about Tyrese. So Tyrese is in a bit of a situation right now that's kind of like what happened with Michael Vick. And that's involving these dog fighting things. Miss Renee, what's going on? Shout out to Miss Renee. It's been a while. Miss Renee, it's been a while since you've been in the chat. I hope you've been well. It says Tyree addresses recent arrest and animal cruelty charges. No, understand, D-Money, when they say all-American, they're talking about white people, okay? They said they have seen rappers, they have seen 2 Latinas and everything like that for the last few years. They said when they say all-American, they're talking about white people. The last white person I believe that did a halftime show was Lady Gaga, and that was years ago. But Tyrese is in a situation right now. Actor and singer Tyrese Gibson publicly addressed his recent arrest on animal cruelty charges. He defended his treatment of his pets and explained the reasons behind owning several large cane corsos. In a video posted to social media on October 7th, the Fast and Furious star said his decision to keep the dog stemmed from concerns over personal safety and harassment by stalkers. Dogs as big as my cane corsos, I actually never wanted to get no cane corsos, Gibson said in the video filmed at his Atlanta home. I've just been dealing with stalkers. The 46-year-old entertainer said the dogs were meant to serve as a protection for his family, not as a status symbol or aggressive animals. Gibson described himself as a longtime experienced dog owner, and he named several pets he cared for over the years. It says the singer also defended the presence of large dogs on his property, saying their deep bark helps deter unwanted visitors. When you have family and some random person pulls up, you want some dogs to bark with some less bass in it. They go, oh, they got dogs. Let's leave this house alone. So wait a minute. Hold on. Y'all are upset at this man for having basically what could be seen as protection at his home. Here I am thinking that I'm going into this, oh, it's another dog fighting situation. No, it's because he has protective dogs. Exactly, Queen Huey. What's the offense? That's what I'm looking for. I'm reading this and I'm looking for the offense. And I don't see it. So you're mad because he has several cane corsos. And yes, those are some big ass dogs. He just has them as protection. Y'all mad. So what? Hold on. Are you trying to tell me what y'all trying to do? Y'all trying to break into the man's house? Oh, you said his dogs got out again, and that's what they upset about? They said he was arrested in early October, and he was charged in Georgia with multiple counts of animal cruelty after reports of neglect involving his cane corso surfaced. Authorities have not released detailed findings of the investigation. You said his dogs mangled. Hold on. You said his dogs mangled another dog to death when it got out. Okay. Because I was about to say, where I'm trying to figure out what the issue was. So now we get it somewhere. So that was the issue. His dog got out and took out a neighbor's dog. That's crazy. But yeah, cane corsos are some giant dogs. They are very intimidating too. But if you have one and you can train it to protect, and as far as I'm concerned, serve, you're going to be good. Your house is going to stay good. Your dwellings will be safe. Because ain't nobody trying to deal with no cane corso. The informant me just said the dog owner came on the news crying. Of course, you got to add in the added levels of theatrics to it, draw the tears out and all of that stuff. Yeah, because I didn't know the other part. But yeah, that's crazy. That is insane. Well, we'll see what comes of this. Let's talk about this story right here. And this is an unfortunate story right here. And this is a story that happened over a year ago, but the update that came through it is absolutely crazy. It says viral claims about a man's death in Albuquerque at odds with the police report. So this is about an individual whose name is Javon Given. And apparently last year he was found lynched. And of course, they did the usual thing, saying that it was self-inflicted, that there's no foul play, that apparently he did this to himself. And coming out over a year later, they said, nah, that's not the case. So let's see what they're talking about. A man found dead in Northwest Albuquerque has sparked internet theories and national conversation after commenters claimed he was recently found hanging from a tree in the Bosque in what they described as a lynching. But a report from the Albuquerque Police Department showed the man, 29-year-old Javon Given, had been dead for more than a year before his name began to circulate online. A property owner found Given hanging from a chain in his vacant building near Corrales in New Mexico 528 on September 27, 2024, and called APD. The responding officer found Given dead with his journal and a pair of glasses sitting atop a nearby pillar, according to a police report filed at the time. We were informed about speculation on social media related to the death of an out-of-state man in Albuquerque area. Gilbert Gallegos, a spokesman for APD, said investigators did not identify signs of foul play, of course, and the Office of the Medical Investigator determined that Mr. Given died by taking himself out. Speculation about Given's death began after his twin sister, Javrion, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing her name, Walker, became worried that he hadn't been in touch and contacted APD to file a missing persons report on October 1st. Given had moved from Kansas City to Albuquerque in 2024 to pursue a new life, his family said, but after months of no contact, Walker became concerned that something had happened to her brother. Walker told the Journal it was unlike her brother to not call or text, especially since their birthday was coming up in a few days. Being his twin, I felt like something was wrong. He didn't talk to me much during that time period because I didn't want to go down there, which was the Albuquerque. But even if we didn't talk for months, he would always text me about our birthday. An APD missing persons detective located the police report from 2024 and informed the caller of the circumstances of her relative's death. Gallegos said, "We send our condolences to Mr. Given's family for the tragic loss of their loved one. According to Walker, police had attempted to notify the next of kin when they found him dead, but they were not able to make contact with Given's mother, so Walker did not find out about his death until she filed the missing persons report. When police told Walker about her brother's death, she said she felt his presence was gone from the earth. However, she did not believe that he had taken his own life. They said they never felt that he would take his own life. I believe the case needs to be open and investigated as a homicide." Walker believes APD failed to notify her family or properly investigate Given's death because he was a homeless black man. Prior to his death, Given had a warrant out for his arrest for allegedly conspiring to commit armed robbery at a Cricket wireless store in Rio Rancho on January 25th, 2024. According to a criminal complaint, Given and 2 other men allegedly stole cell phones from the store before selling one of the phones at an Eco ATM at a Walmart on NM 528. Police used security footage from the Walmart to identify the man. They said a grand jury indicted him on a lesser charge of receiving stolen property, but another warrant was issued for his arrest after failing to appear in court. Yeah, so I'm glad that the sister is saying like something about this just does not seem right. Something about that does not seem right, and I'm glad that the sister is speaking out on it. Because as we have seen as of late, a lot of the stuff that they're saying about us doesn't seem right. I mean, look at what just happened with Trey Reed. And look at how quick they are to say, oh, this is a no foul play. That's their go-to. So I'm glad the sister is staying on top of this. And hopefully there's going to be some more updates that will come from this as well, because whenever they immediately do something like this, or I hear a story like this, I don't believe it. All right, so let's go to now. Oh man, this one right here is absolutely insane. Look at this, y'all. Y'all better check your kids' homework assignments. Charlie Kirk homework assignment to 5th grader and U.S. stuns netizens. No way is that real. They said a quiz on Charlie Kirk's life given to 5th graders went viral after what happened to him. The assignment including a biography and a legacy description task. A quiz on Charlie Kirk's life and career that was given to 5th grade students in the U.S. turned viral for all the wrong reasons. The fatal shooting of the right-wing activist at a Utah college event last month caused a huge uproar among conservatives. In a memorial address, U.S. President Donald Trump had praised the conservative activist as a great American hero and a martyr. On Friday, he was also announced the plans to award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom for what I'm not sure. The presently viral video, which features multiple sections from the assignment document, was initially posted on TikTok by a parent. Several drawings and a brief biography of Kirk were included in the multi-page booklet, which was named The Life of Charlie Kirk. Additionally, it contained a one-page true or false test that required the kids to verify a number of facts, such as how he died. Students were instructed to create a description of his quote-unquote legacy on a different page, breaking it up by work, family, and other interesting information. The reading comprehension assignment in the packet additionally directed the 5th graders to describe how their beliefs affected their choices and way of living. Reacting to the post, one user wrote, "What kind of school is this? Parents didn't have a meltdown. Accomplishments of Black people shouldn't be minimized, but a racist is glorified? Absolutely not. No way is that real," another wondered. What kind of school? Now, I have the video right here. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. So y'all can actually see that this is real. This is a real booklet that somebody made. Now, it's interesting because whenever Black people do something as far as like maybe Black history or something like that, they have to go through all these channels, but someone could just throw this out there to a bunch of First off, just know the fact that it's 5th graders that they handed this out to. This was not high school students, not even college students. This was 5th graders, kids in elementary school that they just thrusted this out there at.
This is your homework?
Yeah.
What did the teacher say when he gave it to you?
She was sad.
She was sad?
Yeah. I can't read.
Okay. This is your homework?
Yeah.
What did the teacher say when he gave it to you?
She was sad.
She was sad?
Yeah. I can't read.
That's crazy. And it's not lost on me too, because I'm looking at the hands of the person of the kid flipping the pages, and those are some very melanated hands. I actually kind of want to see what is on this so-called booklet. Let me see if I can try to read some of what it says on this true or false part. The first one says Charlie Kirk was born in 1993. This is a true or false. The next one says he founded Turning Point USA when he was 20 years old. The next one says he was a committed Christian and his faith guided his life. I'm trying to read it because some of the words are small. It says observing. I can't read that. Oh, Charlie married Erica Francois. I think that's her maiden name. In 2021, and they had 2 children together. Charlie loved being a father and valued his family deeply. He passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by family. And many people remember Charlie Kirk for his for his faith, dedication to helping young people, and his belief that one person can still make a difference. Though, y'all, that's the true or false part.
Boy, if you don't get the fuck out my face.
Wow. Then they got a comprehension part. I don't know what that page is right there. Write a summary legacy about him. And of course, the first part right here, they did, I guess, their own version of a biography. It says the life of Charlie Kirk. But yes, I wanted to show you all the video because just in case people didn't believe that this was real. So yeah, this is in LA, y'all. This is Los Angeles, California, that they gave this assignment out to, which I'm almost certain probably wasn't even approved by the school. This person went out of their way and made this and just gave it to their students. Let's move on to the next story, y'all. This story is absolutely disturbing. Let me see if I can play it.
Consoled each other outside.
Hold on, y'all.
Court in Fairfield after the man accused of killing 28-year-old. Family members consoled each other outside court in Fairfield after the man accused of killing 28-year-old Renia Lewis in Vallejo was charged with murder.
Our family is under grievance. We are devastated at this time.
They're heartbroken that Lewis, the light of their life, is no longer with them, allegedly killed by someone they don't know. The defendant, 41-year-old Douglas Irwin Shaw, answered a few questions from the judge in Solano County Superior Court. The father of 2 girls did not enter a plea.
Renia was a queen. That's who she was.
LaToya Lewis was among dozens of family members who packed the courtroom, shocked over the killing of her cousin, who would have turned 29 on Monday.
Renia, we love you. You know that. You know the heart of your family. You know the blood of this Lewis family would have never stopped looking for you.
Authorities said Shaw used a knife to kill the victim, then dismembered her in a detached unit where he lived near 14th Street and Star Avenue in Vallejo. Her body was found hidden in a space leading up to the attic. I've learned Vallejo police seized many knives from his home. Police later arrested Shaw at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom in Vallejo, where he works as a mechanic. Her family and police tell me the two were not a couple and may have met only recently. Authorities have not discussed a motive or circumstances leading up to the killing. The defendant will return to court next week. He's being held without bail at Solano County Jail.
This was in California, Wallow, in Vallejo.
Fairfield, Henry Lee, KTV.
This reminds me too much of that one that I spoke on that happened last year. The one that, you know, the guy who dismembered that black woman, the young black woman, and basically scattered her parts all over the place. And to this day, they still never recovered all of her. And now you have this situation right here. You understand? They said the media better not ask the family or us to. Oh, I leave that up to the family, and I highly doubt they're going to forgive this monster for what he did. That's crazy. It's the fact that, look at this part right here. It said he dismembered her body and concealed her remains in a detached dwelling unit. And you want to know what the crazy part is? I just watched over the weekend, well, not over this weekend, but last weekend, the Ed Gein story, the monster Ed Gein on Netflix. I was already disgusted like 2 minutes in. But when I read anything about involving some kind of dismemberment, it makes me think of that. Yeah, thank you, Jesse. Sade Robinson was her name. And I hope that this dude gets the same punishment that the guy who dismembered Sade Robinson. Hope that he gets the same sentencing or the same punishment, the same consequence. They said this guy worked at Six Flags as a mechanic and had 2 kids, and he's out here dismembering people. Dude, all you got to do is go to work, do your job, get paid, and go home and take care of your kids. Why are you out here cutting and carving people up? You said, who was the guy who did it, Jerome? His name is Douglas Irwin Shaw. He's 41 years old. And I think the saddest part, going back to Sade Robinson, is not only did they not find all of her parts, to this day, he does not have to explain to the family why he did it. So they'll never know why he did it. Because I think it's some kind of thing that he entered in as a clause where he doesn't have to explain what his motive was as to why he did it. That would eat away at me. Exactly. Why are you going to exactly what Folder Fallacies just said? Why dismember the body if you're just going to store it in a separate apartment? That makes no sense. But then again, I guess for him, it wasn't supposed to make sense. That's just something that he wanted to do. But anyway, y'all, that's a very sad and disturbing story all the way. But let me get to this last story. This last story right here. Okay, before I get into it, put a 1 in the chat if you or somebody you know is affected by this government shutdown. I'm going to go ahead and put my 1 in the chat right now because I actually know several. So there's my 1 right there. So there has been, of course, the government shut down on October the 1st officially, and it's still shut down. It is now October 11th. It has been shut down 11 days. People are furloughed. People are working and basically not getting paid. The airline, they talked about the air traffic control with these airlines. There's going to be a lot of delays. There's flight cancellations, all types of stuff. And I think the worst part that I heard that came from this is that your president is claiming that he doesn't want to implement back pay for some of these individuals who are furloughed. Like, I couldn't even just click on one article because every last one of them is depressing. So what I did was I went and looked up what is affected or impacted by this shutdown, because it's quite a bit. It says a government shutdown, whether partial or full, impacts a variety of services and programs. During the 2018 partial shutdown, the FDA suspended routine inspections, increasing public health risk. The National Park Service stopped trash collection and road repairs, creating unsanitary conditions and unsafe roads, while some national parks and museums closed entirely. Will I continue to receive my Social Security and SSI checks? Recipients will continue to receive their Social Security and SSI checks. The Social Security Administration will provide limited services like issuing Social Security cards and holding appointments for benefit applications. However, SSA will stop services like benefit verifications and processing overpayments. Customer service wait times will dramatically increase. Will Medicare and Medicaid benefits be affected? Current Medicare, Medicaid, and disability insurance beneficiaries will continue to receive their benefits, assuming a shutdown lasts less than 3 months. What happens to my veteran services? So to all of my veterans out here, no matter where in the branch you serve, this one's for you. All veteran affairs or VA medical facilities and clinics will remain operational. The VA will continue to process veteran benefits. However, veterans will be affected by the shutdown of other services that they count on, including education and job training, support for veteran-owned businesses, and even assistance for homeless veterans. Will military and federal retiree benefits be suspended? Military and federal retirees will continue to receive their retirement benefits. Processing new applications or other requested changes will be delayed. What other government services and programs remain uninterrupted? Essential services related to national security and public safety, like inpatient and emergency medical care, air traffic control, law enforcement, border security, disaster aid, and power grid maintenance continue, though they may face disruptions. What happens to federal employees during a shutdown? Federal employees from shutdown agencies are either furloughed, which they are, prohibited from work and unpaid, or required to work without pay if their roles are deemed essential to public safety. While Congress has traditionally approved retroactive payment for these employees once the government reopens, this does not prevent the immediately financial difficulties that they face. I even heard that the IRS fired a bunch of people. I said the IRS is firing a bunch of people, but guess what? When it's time to pay those taxes, that you better pay. And on time. During the 2018-19 shutdown, around 2 million people were employed by the government. 380,000 of them were furloughed and 420,000 worked without pay. That is a lot of people. When the government shuts down, federal agencies are required to classify their employees whose salaries have lapsed as either accepted or not accepted. The employees classified as accepted work without pay during the shutdown. The employees classified as not are put on a furlough. All active and guard reservists on active duty orders are accepted and therefore are required to work without pay. Will air travel be affected? All air traffic controllers, Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, and Customs Border Protection agents will remain on the job without pay. If some do not report to work, as has happened in prior shutdowns, there will be significant delays and longer wait times across the country. Will my mail still arrive? Yes, the Postal Service is not affected. And I know this because someone I work with actually works for the Postal Service, and they informed me that they weren't affected. Let's see. Shutdowns are detrimental to both the public who face service and program disruption and federal employees who are either furloughed or required to work without pay. Moreover, those pose a significant strain on government resources. And it's a whole lot more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post the link in the chat and y'all can read it at your leisure. But point is, the shutdown is going to be affecting just about any and everything. I was actually watching a video from a live stream that no, it wasn't a live stream. It was a video that Lovely T did, and when they was breaking down like how this shutdown was affecting people across the board, it's a trickle down effect. So what starts at the top is going to trickle down to everyone else. Even if you don't feel like it's going to affect you, it's going to touch you. Nene said, I just got back from Vegas on Friday and I just missed the mayhem. Yeah, it's going to be some dark days ahead. I'm going to put it like that. This is day 11. We are on day 11 So remember, I said when I got to the end of the stream, I was going to refresh the page to see where the numbers were at for Black Voltron Reloaded, his GoFundMe. Because remember, the last time we left off, it was at 11,456. So I'm gonna refresh the page and see where we at now. 12,261. So that's a significant jump since what, an hour ago? Yeah, this goal is definitely going to be reached. The way this thing moving, this goal can be reached by before the end of the weekend. So shout out to everybody that's contributed to it. And also, again, if you can, if whatever you want to send to me as a form of a super chat, just send it to this GoFundMe. The link is pinned right, excuse me, right there at the top. All right, so now y'all know what time it is. I'm about to go ahead and drop the link in the chat. And if anybody would like to come up and speak, feel free to go right on ahead.
What's going on, Torrin? What's going on, everybody in the chat? I would like to start off by sending my condolences to Brother Voltron. May he rest in power. I'm glad, he was always someone that when you dropped the link to him, he was one of the main ones that would spit that fire. So if everybody that comes up, please come up and you send your condolences as well. So, two topics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First topic, the pastor. Yeah, I would love to know about that other pastor also in Texas. What you got to say about this one, buddy? Because you were talking all that hot shit about what black youth was doing, but you got people in your community that's also a pastor touching on little kids. Should they be stoned, sir? Because that's what I would love to know. Because this dude deserves to be stoned for touching on the kids. You don't touch on the babies like that. No, that's a no, sir. You don't touch the babies. And then the second one I wanted to address is this government shutdown. We don't know when this is going to end. I think the last time it happened, it was like a month.
It was 2018, 2019, and that's the one that lasted like 35 days. That's the one that, because it happened in December of 2018, and then it carried over into January 2019.
Yeah, I think it might be almost the same. If we just, and I'm not trying to, scare nobody, but we know how these folks are. They don't care. Trump don't want to pay nobody back pay for certain people. People will get behind on bills. You got the holiday season is coming up, so we already know stuff is still going up. So this ain't helping one damn bit whatsoever for all these folks, and I feel bad for everybody because you playing with people's lives, you playing with people's rent, all this other stuff. So it's not a good look.
Like I said, the IRS, they don't care about you making no money. They want their money and on time. And if you don't pay on time, you will be hit with a penalty.
Damn right. And KG said, November 3rd, 2026, that MAGA's gonna die. Every time they do something stupid, I see it and see it more. And I'm gonna land my plane there, Tori, and B1.
Shout out to you for coming up. Okay, like Barlow just said in the chat, and I actually just put it in the chat. There is a 2-topic limit. I don't have a timer on, but it's a 2-topic limit only to keep this going because it's a lot. There's a lot of people that just like, it's like 6 of y'all down here right now, 7 if you include Wallow who just hopped off. So either 1 topic or 2, but nothing past 2. So make sure whatever you want to come up here and speak about is what you want to talk about. Jonathan, what's going on?
What's going on, man? First off, my condolences to Black Voltron Reloaded. I know how much he meant to you, and I also want to get my grievances out for him. So y'all pray for his family and friends that had love for him, and that's all I have. I wish I would have got a chance to know him a lot more sooner. So yeah, first off, the Mania Lewis and that Earl Shaw, whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah, Douglas
Okay,
Irwin Shaw. Yeah.
yeah, Douglas Irwin Shaw. He works as a mechanic and he got two kids. What was he thinking? Second, why do we keep letting these psychopaths do that to our women like that, bro? It's like we try to give them a benefit of the doubt, but the more, it's like I said, the more they do this stuff, the more it's gonna make me sad. Like, the white people that I interact with the gym is the more it's gonna make me kind of like want to be, back off of them because of the stuff that they do. But it's like the fact, like, imagine someone doing this to your kids. How would you feel? And knowing them, man, they cry, they gonna be mad, like, oh no, you see this to my kids and all that. You just dismember a black woman, you racist piece of shit. Excuse my language, but I'm so angry, dog, because they cry victim, like they the most fragile people ever. They know if someone turn a blind, like, retaliate against them, they're gonna cry victim and they're gonna wanna, you know, say that we're racist, we're hating them and all this. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, good. I'm glad you brought that up because remember how they flipped out, how they crashed out about the Arenas Rooska down there in North Carolina on the train. They didn't say anything. They didn't say anything about this, and this just happened. But they're definitely quiet about it. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, after what happened, after what that John Carl Punk did to Neil Wilson, and now, people are trying to come up with ways to demonize her. So they took a picture of her having this thing she was holding like it was a gun, but it was a cell phone holder that was shaped like a gun. They were trying to demonize her after to justify that dude's killing. He was no cop or nothing. He was a crazy psycho racist killer, and they try to demonize her to make her look like that she did something to provoke that. So now it's like, now, how would you feel if we were to look for something to demonize Irina Bazooka? What if we just said, like, oh, she called him a racial slur before they got on the train. That's why he killed her. Now, how would you feel if we did that? Y'all would not like that. If y'all don't want nobody to show if you want people to show sympathy for you or show love for you, you know what I'm saying? You got to show it back. You can't just keep allowing your racism to get by and expect people to show condolence. For some people that's racist that hates us, they want us to show respect for them. They want us around when something bad happens to them. They lumping us in for stuff. Like, and they get mad when we don't want these Charlie Kirk wannabes in black campuses. Your people just killed a woman in our community, and yet you come around and target us, to make us look like something, so you can give people from your community another opportunity to come after us, so you can use it as an excuse. That's why you talk about black fatigue, but you're still around us. Talking about Tennessee State, you thought it was a PWI. No, it's the HBCU, and I'm pretty sure they knew that. If you look at those interviews that they had talking about, we always had issues with white colleges. You didn't post that, and you didn't say to fund the colleges and also stop the lies. And what else? And as for the pastors, these churches, I'm sick of these pastors, these so-called God-fearing pastors who don't preach for the Lord. They preach for themselves. While he's out here, messing with little kids, he's probably also asking for all these donations, all these tithes and all that, getting all this money, making money off for his fellow members and not doing nothing in return for just effing children. You know what I'm saying? That's another topic I have issues. I have issues with pastors doing all this sick stuff for years, and they claim that they love the Lord and all that. These folks are just wild and insane and the most bigot, hypocrite, Neanderthals ever existed. And the more they do more of this sick stuff, the more we just have to separate ourselves from them. But the question is, will they separate themselves from us? Because they say they hate us, but they always try to come up with a way to get near us, and it just never fails. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let my plane right there and finish my workout
All right,
because
appreciate you coming
I'm
up.
tired. Thank you.
All right, shout out to Jonathan for coming up. Next up, we got Samuel. What's going on?
Hey, Torian, what's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. The first topic I want to talk about is the shutdown, Torian. Do you think it's going to affect the 26th and the 28th election that we have coming up?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. Like, do you? I mean, yeah. Like, and how do you think is it going to have more of effect on us, Torian, or you think it's just going to have just effect on just the whole country? Period. You know, like.
I think it's going to have an effect on the whole country. Of course, we're definitely going to feel it. But I would say that this right here is not going to look good. Like, let's say, for instance, if you're talking about on the party level, it's going to look real hard for the Republicans because they control everything. They got the House, the Senate, and Congress, and this happened on their watch. And it's the second time that a shutdown has happened with Trump being a sitting president, because the first one happened under his first term, and now you have the second one that's happening under his second term.
Right. And then not only that, Torian, I mean, it's just so much that's just happened. And we barely into like a year into this,
Not even a whole year.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just looking bad on that. And the second topic, Torian, is that who do you expect to be performing at this TPA halftime? Because Torian, there's a rumor that somebody that you got in the bed bucking hall of shame is going to be a possible performer.
Who's that?
Corey Yeshua.
Oh, please.
Yes, Torian. There's a possibility that because he's been I think because right now Turning Point Blessed and Turning Point could I see you then do a story on that, Torian? I'm pretty sure you may have one coming up about Blexit and Turning Point doing like these visiting these black HBCUs.
The homecoming. Yeah, I heard about that. I was like, they're not going to get the turnout they think they are.
Right. Yeah, and from what I was told, Torian, they haven't, because I'm down here in the Carolinas. I think they did one at North Carolina Agriculture. And they said nobody really even showed up.
I think I heard about that. Yeah, and I had saw the article for that. I think last week. I want to say it was it? No, it wasn't even last week. It was a couple days ago.
Yeah, and they said nobody showed up. Nobody showed up at all.
They don't know them. They don't mess with them like that.
Right. And yeah, and then but going back to that halftime, so they said that Corey Yeshua may be a possible performer. And like I said, Torian, if you ever heard him rap even before he became a pundit for PragerU and things like that, you would be like, okay, now we see why you couldn't make it in mainstream hip hop and mainstream music. And yeah, because I think I want to try to send you a link, Torian, of him. Because I think I sent it in your whatchamacallit, your what's the other platform that you use?
Patreon.
Yeah, your Patreon. I think I sent the video of him. I think he was auditioning for MTV, and I think I sent you the video of Rob Smith when he was on I Want to Work for Diddy. Yes, and both of them were just horrible, Torian. It's just like, wow. Now I see why you guys are just grifting for conservative DOP, media and things like that, because they just and Torian, you never want to bash somebody for pursuing their dreams and stuff like that, but it's like you really can't give somebody some slack if they're not really putting any work, effort, and grind to whatever craft it is that they're getting. I mean, it's like when you would go when you show Tatum's college stats.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, but like I said, I just wanted to hear your reaction about Corey Yeshua being a possible performer at TPA's halftime show.
I have no comment.
No, no comment at all. It's like yeah, because I think he just did a song with and you're gonna laugh at this, Torian. He did a song before Giotto Blow.
I don't know who these people are. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
Yeah, but I'm gonna land my plane right there, Torian. I'm gonna let somebody go on next, okay? And I
All right,
just appreciate everything you do, man. Be one.
Be one. All right, shout out to Sam you for coming up. Let's see, who do we have next? Pam, what's going on?
I'm doing fine. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Again, condolences for the young man that passed away, for his family. And also, I love this format that you have. I love this whole weekly thing. So continue to keep it up.
Most
But
definitely.
what I wanted to talk about is a couple of things. The first one in regards to the Charlie Kirk pamphlet or document.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want to say to parents. This is indoctrination at its finest. I live in the cradle of the Confederacy. And one of the things that we have had to battle here is the fact that when they want to talk about history, and then when they want to talk about Black history, they want to talk about slaves and the plantations. And partly what they were doing was asking children to build these dioramas of the plantation, the slave quarters. And then they would do this indoctrination thing. There was nothing wrong with slavery because they were being fed. They had a job, and the people, if the people didn't like them, they wouldn't have allowed for them to live on their land. Type of mess. Mm-hmm. So what I would say to you all is this, because all schools have lesson plans and all this other stuff, and depending on the school that they're going to, because my question was this a public school? Is this a private school? Where's this school? And wherever it is, I know as Black folks, we got to work and we got to do all of these different things. I clearly understand that. But this is where they are indoctrinating your children into some stuff that is not right. And so if you can't, as a parent, go to the school and pop up, put their grandparents, put their aunts, their uncles, or whoever it is that you trust to be able to work with around your kids to do a pop-up at that school. Put them on that list. Let them do a pop-up. Let them look at that lesson. Let them see what they're doing in their classroom, what the teacher is talking about. Not to go in there to be disruptive, but just to go and have lunch with your kid that day if your school allows those types of things. And the other thing too is to pay attention to that book bag. Go through that book bag, look at those folders, see what they're they're getting those grades on. Read, don't be concerned about whether or not they just got an A or an A+ or B or C or D. Look and read the information that's in there, because you will find that they are indoctrinating our children into stuff that we may or may not agree, but because we are not paying that much attention, because we think, oh, the school is supposed to do right by our children, we don't know nothing about them teachers that are teaching in these schools. So I wanted to put that forth to you all. And secondly, I wrote some notes because I was trying to be able to explain that without being too emotional, but forgive me if I do. We as a community has to get around or off this taboo that we have about self-pruning from the timeline. Mm-hmm. Because there's no way that you're going to make me believe, and again, I'm a Gen Xer, you're not going to make me believe that these young people are pruning themselves from the timeline via strange fruit. I just can't believe that or wrap my head around that. Do I believe that people are pruning themselves from the timeline? Absolutely, because depression and all of these things are real. So, but because we have such a big taboo about talking about these things, talking about with our children, and particularly with our young men. We ask our young men to be this certain thing, but we don't ask them to be human and have feelings other than them being angry and being frustrated. I need for us to be more mindful of that. Make sure that whatever relations that you have with your young people or whoever, you all are talking to them and not talking at them, seriously talking with them, listening to what they're saying. Stop trying to give them stop telling them that they're supposed to feel or do this. Listen to what they're feeling, because those other people have watched us for a millennia. They know our strengths, they know our weakness, because they're always watching us. And they will watch us to the point that they'll say, oh, if we want to get rid of a lot of people, let's use that self-pruning as a way to do this. And because they know in their community that type of pruning from the timeline is popular. But it's not popular in our time. It's always either you're taking yourself out by taking too many pills, or it's a self-inflicted pew wound. So I need us to be, I love us for real, good, bad, or indifferent, but I need us to pay more attention and be very real. You cannot pray depression away. You got to get help for it, and stop making it taboo for those things, because if in the next 6 months we hear about another young person, or a couple of young people pruning themselves from the timeline by strange fruit, Houston, we have a problem. And that's all I got to say. Love y'all.
Appreciate you coming up, Pam. Shout out to Pam for coming up. Let's see, who do we have coming next to the stage? Denzemus, what's going on?
What's up, my guy? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. I know you. I think you talked about how to, or was it Wallow J who talked about how to? Okay, no, y'all didn't talk about it. So did you hear about that pastor that said that black youth are rebellious? Okay. You see, I one thing. Let me close my door because I don't want my youngins to hear this. One thing I don't play about is the young folks in our community, because I'm a true believer that they are our future. And I can't do, like, I don't know if he's facing the backlash that he should be facing yet, but this is getting to the point now where, on top of just having our power tools, we really need to still, when these midterms get here, and these Democrats are going to pretend like they're going to pretend like they were helping us this whole time. That's coming. I don't want to hear shit from these people, except for what they're going to do to punish animals. I apologize. I apologize to animals. I want to know what they're going to do to punish little demons like that motherfucker on that mic talking about black youth needs to be, for lack of a better word, well, actually not a word, unalived on a mass scale. That I don't know how these people have the nerve to even say something like that so publicly, but yeah, I'm going to keep reiterating it. We need to have like some laws passed on this, because this is they're with the whole Charlie Kirk situation. You already know they're on edge anyway, and of course these people never they say this about us, but it's really them. Never ashamed. Never take any personal responsibility. That's just their whole MO. And then secondly, I don't know if you heard, but they talk about DEI, but there was just another helicopter crash in California.
I don't think I heard about that.
Okay, well, there was another one that just crashed, and of course I feel sorry for the people who passed away. One of them's in critical condition. But anyway, I can almost guarantee that it's most likely a non-black person. So my thing is this: we're always talking about how IQs are low and such. But my thing is, why is it never said for these people? Because when that orange fool got into office, it was mainly they asses plus one white woman who was a damn diversity hire her own self that crashed the damn airplanes and helicopters. Why is it always our fault when some shit happens? I wonder what
We're
they
the
have to say
low-hanging
about that.
fruit. We're the
Could you say it
low-hanging
again?
fruit. We're the low-hanging fruit. I could have sworn I did a mini deep dive about this. I'm not sure. I've done so many at this point, not to toot my own horn, but we're the low-hanging fruit. Like, think about it. Why do you think my phrase is the foundation of every grift is the degradation of Black people, especially foundation of Black Americans?
Yeah.
They cannot get the clicks, views, and engagement without bringing us into the equation, even when we are nowhere near the situation at hand.
Yeah, because there's no reason we should even be getting blamed for this stuff.
Look at what happened. Perfect example. Look at what recently happened when everything got revealed with Kyron Lacey. They tried to blame that crash on him, and his car was nowhere near the crash site.
Exactly, because they just have to make us the villain somehow instead of looking into themselves and trying to fix their issues. It's just textbook narcissism, but it's more, well, it's textbook narcissism, but with them, it's more dangerous because their history, they just have a habit of lashing out and with this damn mob mentality and just starting shit with us, which is why, once again, shout out to Professor Black Shoes. Power tools. And because I feel like the more Trump gets in the office, the more Trump is in office, the more they're going to try and be more violent. They cannot under any circumstances think any other way. Even when COVID happened, they were talking about we're going to get our guns. I'm like, what the fuck are you going to do? You're going to shoot a disease? Like, seriously? Like, do you cavelings not know how? I'm sorry. Of course, they don't know how to be civilized. The only thing they know is deception, like Tariq Nasheed says. And then when they can't deceive you, it's always going to go straight to violence, which is why I really need to. I hope there are some young people listening to this, but please be careful around your YT friends because at the end of the day, their parents definitely teach them to hate you. I don't believe in coincidences when it comes to things like this, because if there's a 14-year-old, they literally, if there's a 14-year-old literally calling you an N-word, like, come on now, they didn't get that just from the Xbox or something like that. They're getting this stuff, they're getting this hatred taught to them by their parents, the same way Charlie Kirk was teaching it to the younger generations. You even have some of the younger generation folks now talking like him. So you just know when these people get older, they're going to become politicians, they're going to become lawmakers, police officers, people in the army. So I don't know. I just feel like we, on top of just having our power tools, we need to teach our children just to be wary of these people. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. B1.
All right, B1. Shout out to you for coming up. King Stark, what's going on?
Nothing. Well, nothing. It was.
That's it. Go ahead.
What a day for the government to be shut down on my 23rd birthday, which was expected because the government is just, at this point, they're just a whole bunch of clowns, a whole bunch of clout chasing clowns. And so I wanted to get. So when do you think this thing is gonna end, if it ever ends?
I don't know. Like you said, is run by a bunch of clowns, and clowns don't know how to run much of anything. So I don't know when it's actually going to shut down. That's all on them. Hopefully it ends soon. Because I said one thing you don't want to do is mess with people's money, and you don't know what people are going to do when their funds are affected, especially if they have mouths to feed. If it's not even if it's just them, that's already an issue. But if you have a family, that's even worse.
Yep, and I was just about that. People got families to feed, pay, mortgages to pay, rent to pay, children to feed, and you playing with people's funds, and especially it's hard out here. It's real hard out here, and you don't ain't no telling what people gonna do. Like you said, it ain't no telling what people gonna do when you messing with they funds, and messing with people money ain't no joke. And for the so-called president to say that he ain't gonna give nobody back pay it's wild to me. You sitting up there getting paid. You sitting up there. Him and JB is sitting up there getting paid. So what's wrong with paying all the government workers that are furloughed?
Like I said, when it comes to the money thing, it's a greed thing. Like I don't know. Like I said, I don't. I'm glad that I'm nowhere near that administration because I don't know what they got cooking over there. You know what? KG would probably be the best one to explain all of this, especially because he's like really good when it comes to the politics thing. And I don't want to like overstep my boundaries when it comes to or even say the wrong thing. But like I said, it's definitely a greed thing at its core. That's really what it is. And I don't know, like I don't know if they have issues with other people, but yeah, like they can keep playing around if they want to. But the thing is, the shutdown has been lasting and going on for 11 days now. So that's 11 days that people have not made any money from their jobs, and they're basically doing volunteer work. They're working for free. And I know people didn't apply for a job to work for free. You apply for a job so you can make money.
Mm-hmm. It'd be KG's channel. It'd be funny because he be arguing with their MAGA troll. He be arguing with their MAGA troll. That stuff would be funny. That'd be funny. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say.
All right, appreciate you coming up. Shout out to King Star for coming up. Next up, we got Xavier. What's going on?
Hey, brother Torian. Greetings, my brother. How you been holding up?
Doing pretty good.
So I hear you're coughing a little. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something like I got from at my job or what, because it could be it's probably something in the air. The weather is starting to change, so that's probably what it is. But I'm sure it'll be gone in a couple of days because it just started happening maybe a day or two ago.
Well, I'm probably in the same boat because I woke up with a sore throat this morning. So yeah,
it's probably just the weather changing because we transitioning to fall right now. Well, actually, it's been fall, but we can really feel it now.
Yeah, true. Anyways, I just wanted to say, first off, R.I.P. to Black Voltron. I didn't know the brother, but I've heard him speak, and he seemed like an all right guy. And condolences to his family. I think the first topic I actually wanted to talk about was this whole Charlie Kirk thing, and it's getting beyond ridiculous now. I'm tired of hearing that guy.
Not even kidding. It's been not to cut you off. On Tuesday, on the 14th, they're doing that whole Day of Remembrance thing. So I was like, oh my God. And the irony is also that's also George Floyd's birthday. And people didn't know that it was. No one knew that was George Floyd's birthday until they found out that was Charlie Kirk's birthday. We didn't know. So now you're gonna have some of them over there doing the whole Charlie Kirk thing, but then you're gonna have people countering it with George Floyd's birthday.
Yeah, I that's probably gonna be really funny. And I hate the fact that this racist piece of shit, because he was a racist piece of shit, and throughout his life, they're making him into some kind of Christian martyr. But when you ask them, okay, what Christian values does this guy have? He went to Cambridge, and he couldn't even he got roasted by the Cambridge students because he didn't even know what the hell he was talking about. He was quoting Leviticus, and it had nothing to do with Leviticus. He was a dumbass. He was a typical dumbass that just got lucky to be noticed by the bigger dumbass in the White House. That's really it. And the gall, the absolute caucasity of these people to actually, you know, try to make it seem like he didn't do or say all the things he said. This racist piece of shit actually tormented the daughter of George Floyd for a while. Like he I don't know if you knew about that, but he was attacking George Floyd's daughter for no reason. He made a spectacle of the whole thing, and you want us to you now want us to turn around and say, oh, he was a poor soul that was taken too soon. Nah, fuck that. The world is a better place without him. And I have zero, like, it's just so annoying seeing these people pretending like he was some kind of Christian, to the point where I don't know if you heard about the cardinal that talked about how he was comparing him to St. Paul of all people.
They've been doing
comparing
they've been trying to compare him with a lot of people as of late.
Which is insane.
That he should not be compared to.
Exactly. It's insane. Everyone from MLK to a fucking saint, like, nah, forget that. And it just goes to show you that they don't have any real, these monsters don't have any real heroes of their own. So they have to make shit up all the time, make up absolute stories just to push this random white guy that was not really significant in any real way, except for pushing hate and bigotry his whole, like, for decades. So yeah, I mean, fuck that guy. Absolutely. Secondly, the story about the sister that got murdered by that lunatic. R.I.P. to her, man. Like, as soon as I saw that story, it reminded me of the one you did. You mentioned it in the video.
Sade
The
Robinson.
one about Sade Robinson. And I think I put it in the chat too. Like, that's why I get worried when I see sisters going, dating these PC people, because you never know. Like, just the other day, this other guy that snapped and basically he used the pew pew to try and take out his whole family because he got caught like exposing himself to kids. I don't know how that was supposed to help his situation, but whatever. But this is the kind of people that they're dealing with. You don't see that regularly with Black people. You just don't. So I don't know why you would put yourself in that kind of dangerous position. Love who you want to love, but you got to be cautious. There's no, like, the instances of these guys going, savage on people is way too high. It's unfortunate. I really hope that he gets put away for a very long time. I hope that the family finds peace somehow. It's horrible. That should never happen to anybody. Anyways, that's really all I got. Just wanted to give a shout out to you and the rest of the B1 fam. You're doing an awesome job as always. So,
I appreciate
take
you
care of
coming
yourself,
up.
brother.
You too.
Yeah.
All right, shout out to Xavier for coming up. Next, we got JD and Foreman. What's going on?
Yo, can you hear me? All right.
I can hear you.
All right. I just want to, first of all, rest in peace, Black Voltron. Sad news to come out. I hope they get to their goal. Look, they're on their way to it, so that's.
Oh yeah, they gonna reach that because I refreshed the page and it was at like 12,000 something. It's probably nearing 13,000, and their goal is 15,000 by the 27th. So, I like I said, I have a feeling they're gonna reach that goal by the end of the weekend.
That's good to know, man, because it's good that people can come together and give money to something that actually means something instead of people who take money and what they do with it. Scammers, grifters, all that stuff. But let me get to the topics. I'm gonna make this real quick. I want to talk about two things, and that's the dog situation and the Charlie Kirk situation in the classroom. First, with the dogs, the guy got on the news. He was crying about his dog was gone because they got out again, and apparently they deleted his dog. At the time, Tyrese was in, I believe, he was out of town. He was not even out of town. He was out of the country, but they issued a warrant for his arrest and all that. So I'm like, all this over a dog. It's kind of crazy that you're doing all this for a dog because a bunch of dogs. First of all, I don't even know how these dogs got released because if he's out of town, then he has a dog sitter. It should be on a dog sitter, even though the dogs did the damage. It should be on a dog sitter.
And those are cane corsos. Those are very big dogs. Like exactly. This is not a puppy or a chihuahua. These dogs are huge. They are massive.
Mm-hmm. But whoever he had, if I was him, whoever I had dog sitting, they will be liable for any damages done because that dude did get on the news. He's pretty much tearing up, crying, talking about this is a family member to us. And, he went on a whole spiel about that. So he is going to be definitely suing Tyrese. I'm gonna send you something like that. Not something like that. I'm gonna send you that interview he had in Discord whenever you have a chance to watch it. The other thing, the classroom thing, when it comes to this indoctrination, when it's this Christian man who passed away because he was, too good for the world, so they took him away. That's all those questions. They're all false because he's full of it, man. He didn't spend his time, bringing people together. He spent his time lying, downing people. And there's an old saying that says, "Don't say anything if you don't have nothing good to say." But yet he had his mouth open all the damn time. You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say.
And it's obvious the person who created that was a fan. It's very obvious.
A super fan. And we've been saying, did you see that what that super fan did to those two young girls, the 17-year-old girls? And he's 17 himself.
I'm gonna do. That video's going up on Monday. That video is going. That was.
And he's 17, bro. He's 17.
Now that was disturbing and very sad at the same time. But that video is going up on Monday. I have it in my calendar, y'all. I make a calendar for all the videos that I get ready. I have to, especially with all the stuff that I record. But that's going up on Monday.
You got an old school calendar where you write it down, or you got a digital calendar?
I use Google Docs. I just create the little template and I create the table, to look like a calendar, and I just insert like the videos and the time to upload. If I have a live, I insert that as well. So I do that for the whole month. So I pretty much have everything up for the whole month of October to the point where it's starting to run into now November.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, that's all I want to say about that, man. Charlie Kirk, what happened, but this whole indoctrination trying to, make him look like he need to be in the next Marvel movie where he's beating villains. No, that's not in at all. That's not in at all. So, those two stories, it really hit me, man. So that's all I want to say.
All right, appreciate you coming up. All right, shout out to Jay the Informant for coming up, and we have one last person to coming up, and y'all already know who it is.
Heed my command and reclaim these relics of hatred.
Hurricane Niecy, what's going on?
Thank you for making me last. You always know I'm gonna wrap it up. Good evening to you, Torian. Good evening, family in the chat. And I will make it quick. First off, my deepest sympathy to Black Voltron's family. His daughter, although she's going through, she's gonna be all right. She will reach her goal. I believe that. Mm-hmm. All right. That so-called pastor, my stance, Torian. Mm-hmm. What I gotta say, castration, if you can find that motherfucker.
You know what? I had a delayed reaction to that because I was like, fine. I'm like, wait a minute, he in custody. But then now I know exactly what you mean when you say that. Okay, I got it now. It was a delayed reaction.
That's all right. That CK book report, if I had a child, 5th grader going to school, I would have been up in front of that teacher's face and go on and give my child an F because he ain't doing this motherfucking assignment.
Facts.
Just give my child an F. Hell no.
I would take it a step further and try to get my child up out of it. That's what you're going to put in front of my child. Because I
Exactly.
know you can't tell me that was on the curriculum. That was not. That was something you decided to take upon yourself, and you can't tell me that teacher did not go to the administration and ask them for permission to do that, because they know they would have said no. They personally did that. That teacher needs to be reprimanded for that. I don't care. It didn't even, and the thing is, it didn't even have to be charged. It could have been anybody. You don't just throw it on the side because you feel like it.
Well, I got one more thing to say. Earlier this week, I was on my way to work. My next door neighbor, their youngest, been knowing his child since birth. Guess what the fuck he was wearing?
Was it something? Oh, was it a Freedom shirt?
It was a white hoodie, all white hoodie, and he had Charlie Kirk, True Patriot. And I was already in my car, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yep, there it is.
Exactly. And as I was processing it, I said, "You know what? I shouldn't be surprised. Should not be surprised." And I leave on this tip. My FBA family, we know what to do. They bring the funk, fuck them up. B1.
B1. Shout out to Miss Nisi for coming up and closing out the panel discussion. Shout out to everyone. We've been on here for almost 2 hours. We did spend like maybe an hour on the topics and like an hour on the panel, but shout out to everyone that did come up. There will be a video coming tomorrow at 11 a.m. And of course, you know, tomorrow at 3:40 p.m. there will be True Crime Sunday. True Crime Sunday. I'll just go ahead and tell y'all, because I'm gonna put the video, the window up after this live is over. It's going to be on the killer clown known as John Wayne Gacy. I kind of hinted toward it a couple weeks ago without telling who was going to be on, but that is who the True Crime Sunday topic will be on tomorrow. Of course, you know, we do the pre-show here on YouTube to kind of gather people together so they can head on over to Rumble. But on Rumble is where we will be hosting the documentary. Tomorrow it starts at 3:40, and then, you know, I shut it down over here at 3:55, and we just jump right into the documentary over on Rumble for like the next hour or so. So make sure y'all are present for that tomorrow. Again, I will put up the premiere window for the video. It's going to be at 11 a.m. and then the window for the True Crime Sunday, which is going to be at 3:40 p.m. tomorrow. So make sure y'all catch both of those. Shout out to each and every person that came up for the discussion. Shout out to everyone that came through. If y'all are part of the replay gang, shout out to you as well. All the members, all the mods, everybody over there on Patreon. Shout out to each and every one of you. I will talk to each and every one of you hopefully tomorrow. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Be safe, and of course, most importantly, be one.